All right, this is Tamara Crawley with Benedictine University, and we're in New Trenton, Indiana, with Chief Don Moucher. Don, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to be with me. If you wouldn't mind, maybe give us an introduction.
I'm Don Moucher. I've been the fire chief. I've been a fireman for about 34 years, since I was 16, old enough to become a cadet member here on the fire department. And I currently serve chief for the last 15 or so years. I'm a certified first-class firefighter, was a past instructor, was a past EMT, and I currently work a full-time job with Procter & Gamble in Cincinnati, and do this as a community effort.
Volunteer, which we appreciate so much. Thank you for your volunteer time. What are some of the most frightening areas in regards to disaster management, emergency response, and possibly handling terrorist activities that you face today?
I think generally we have really relatively low out here in our community, in the rural community area. Our biggest hazards in our particular community is we have a natural gas line a couple of miles up the road that terrorists would have the possibility, if they wanted to disrupt something out in the communities and create some tension, would be the gas line here in our local area. The gas line actually runs from Texas to somewhere in Ohio, delivering a wide variety of products: diesel fuel, jet fuel, and propane or natural gas to Lebanon from Texas. And about, I'd say it's in the last 10 years, we had a rupture of a line up there, and it just happened to be carrying diesel fuel or jet fuel, diesel fuel, and it leaked about 25,000 gallons out into a field, and we was able to maintain that and keep it corralled. If that would have been jet fuel, it would have probably been a different situation, but with it being diesel, we was able to mitigate anything getting into the waterways.
Thank you. Thank you. How well do you think that we as a community as a whole are prepared to handle that disaster or public health event?
We meet weekly. We meet every quarterly with the local emergency planning commission, the LEPC. Ed Hollenbach runs that program here in the county, and we're pretty much integrated into it. We all had copies and training on disasters that we could face here in the county. And our disasters are, big propane leaks or hazardous material incidents. Not, we don't have a uranium around here or stuff like that. So we're looking at things that happen in our community, and we've regularly drilled on those with tabletop exercises. And over the past, we've done full-scale exercises. We had a tabletop exercise in the community about probably 8 to 10 months ago on a propane leak in a little town called Mount Carmel that we would mutual aid with near a school, and that flowed out pretty well. We vetted out some improvement areas and what went good, what went bad, but that's some of the things we look towards. Not hazardous material flows up and down the strip road. You never know what's going up and down through here. You'd be surprised if you really knew.
Now, I'm also familiar with your, or not your particularly, but at the county health department, they maintain a list of people who are like registered nurses like myself.
Yes.
Now, is there at any point that there would be a plan to include them loosely in future events?
Yes, we've had meetings with the local health director here, and at the LAPC meetings we have, or the emergency response meeting, all the chiefs. So we have the police chiefs and the fire chiefs and the EMS and EMA folks in there. We discuss regularly about how would we go get medicine in Cincinnati, and where would we bring it out from a local standpoint, a gathering point. And I believe our hall behind us here is one of those spots that's been designated as a treatment facility.
Very nice hall. How many vehicles do you hold in this bay?
We can, in the firehouse here, we can have up to 6 to 8 vehicles in here. Depends on how tight we put them. The hall behind us is a recreation hall,
Okay.
and its capacity is about 260 people. So if we had to, we could bed them in there. We could create an opportunity to triage or to administer medicine if necessary.
Okay, all right. And what are some of the other preparatory measures that need to be done in order to maintain the safety or organizational integrity during the event?
Naturally, communications is the biggest issue we have here. Our county is really relatively poor. Most fire departments don't have what we call the 800 megahertz system that all the county police, state police, and everything else work with. So we're fortunate. We got a grant about 3 or 4 probably longer than that now. 6 years ago, we was able to purchase about 10 to 12 of these radios. So communications always in any type of disaster, any type of preparedness is what's really critical. And we have mutual aid agreements with all the fire departments in Franklin County, and I really have a good resource with Harrison that I can tap into any of the Hamilton County resources through him. And we don't really have a mutual aid agreement signed, but it's more of a verbal thing that once I get him access, that I can help get other resources out here in case of a.
Is there a potential for them to be able to knock out that sort of communication?
There's always a potential. There's some backups, and we have low band, which doesn't rely on the same transmissions here. So half the county, most of the county fire departments, 90% of the county fire departments are under the low band system. So we could operate off low band. We have both sets in our truck.
A contingency plan?
Yeah, so we could operate on either way.
Okay.
When we're out on scenes today, we're used to operating on both radios.
Okay, all right. And how is the organizational integrity?
Organizational integrity of the community. Well, the fire departments really work well together. We meet regularly, we meet quarterly. I happen to be the chairman, we call it the Franklin County Fire Chiefs Alliance. So we get together every quarter and we set up protocols for fire departments that mutual aid in and out. They call it 2 in, 2 out. We have a working knowledge of each other's command staff so that we can cut down on some of the political stuff and just go up to them and talk to them.
Okay. Transparency.
Yes.
Yes, yes. What are some of the possible trainings that you would suggest that the community become involved with?
Right now, our community, from the general, it's just really what is shelter in place. What does it take to shelter in place? So if we had a truck crash here in town, we don't want people to really exit the house and get out into where it's airborne. We want to learn about sheltering in place, how to tape the windows. We want to really have a little bit of a supply to maintain themselves at home without having to get out.
So as a public health nurse, it's really important to get out there and spread that message when I'm out
Yes.
visiting.
Think about shelter in place. Think about little kits. What extra things? Some extra water, stuff you can have, especially going into winter here.
Yes.
We have for us sometimes a major snowstorm paralyzes us here, and we get calls once in a while. People running out of prescription medications or water. Some of the basic needs.
I know I've had a neighbor right down here, and 2 winters ago, actually she was the relief nurse for a patient I was providing care for in Bright, but she was off for care of her terminally ill husband, and she came running up to the store, couldn't find anybody in the local response, and what she really needed was somebody to come and lift up her cellar door because her water pipes broke and she needed to turn it off because her
Is this
husband.
Miss Taylor?
It was Mrs. Parker.
Barker, not something. Taylor was her husband.
Yes,
Sorry.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I know Taylor.
Yes.
We had some training. Taylor had a
Yes.
situation where we had some specialty training for the
Yes.
situation.
Yes, so those kind of things I see that do occur. And then recently, I have a new partner doing care management work out in the community with me, and she shops at a different gas station, and the American Red Cross has some really nice books, paper booklets for available for donation. So I've been trying to get those and pass them out, but like you said, it has the kit information.
For disaster preparedness and how to protect yourself at home. Yeah, sheltering in place is going to be critical
Okay.
for people.
That's a very important thing to learn to go on about. Where do you see emergency management or public health disaster preparedness within the next 5 years?
Well, I think that we're going to continue to improve the technologies. Those technologies are going to require also be stopped. There we go. Technology is going to need to improve. The radio communications for our community has to improve. More intermutual dependency upon each other is always going to be a thing. For a volunteer fire department, what we are, it's tough about staffing. Our staffing during the day is really low. In the evening, we have much more staffing, but during the day, it's much tougher to get the staffing. And that's the way without the whole community.
And is it hard to pull the volunteers in if they're medically related because they're working outside of the community and driving distance?
Yes, it's very difficult to get people in for medical, especially during the day. It takes a lot of training, and then other people have jobs or usually pulled out of the community. We're fortunate we have some folks here that work in the area and can respond to medical calls during the day.
Okay.
We're fortunate.
And you have that new first responder truck that's the scout truck, what was the name?
That's
of it?
Franklin County EMS has that.
Okay.
We are on a first responder unit where we're just basic first responders. We can provide oxygen and what have you. But that's the county EMS system. Franklin County EMS has a advanced truck. We have advanced EMT. They call it Responder 24. and they start an IV, and they can run a 12 lead EKG for someone having a heart attack, and provide some more definitive care
Okay.
pre-hospital.
What do you consider, or who do you consider to be some of the key stakeholders in the community?
Oh, definitely your public officials. They really pull a lot of purse strings here in the county. The commissioners, the sheriff, the EMA director, and the whole EMA staff, the LEPC, and then the local fire departments and EMS really got to work well together in order to take care of a disaster here.
Okay. And why do they play an integral role, and do they incorporate, like, I know that sometimes you have school children come and visit, you know, like you want to, you know, nurture your young to also want to come and do these kind of
Oh,
positions.
sure. Yeah, we tend to go to schools and we encourage the young folks. That's why we developed the cadet program here. We really want to get them at 16 where they start having some social responsibility and start feeling what's going on in life. Really try to keep some of them out of trouble. I make them bring their grades, and I always encourage that school is first. If you got school functions or homework that's first, don't come here and that's that. And then I ask for their grades. And I have their, naturally I have their parents sign. But from 16 to 18, they can't really fight fires. We just have them come train and be around with us. Find us everything for a good influence.
I agree. It's something, an alternative to being out and getting in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, how can they get more involved in emergency preparedness and response concerning if you do have a call for a mental health emergency, like something?
You know, people just need, when they see mental health issues, and they happen in the county, they just have to be aware and not take it for granted that people are going to be okay. Mental health is tough in the county right now. Drugs and depression, and with the economy, a lot of people are depressed. So it's very prudent for people to be aware of other people's feelings and how they are, and don't be afraid to call.
Okay. And do you think that also plays a part in some of the events that occurs because of the mental health, the low
Absolutely.
economy?
Yeah, absolutely. It happens all the time, domestic situations and people on drugs. A lot of time comes about because of their mental stability and where they are financially or social, economical. And Facebook and the new social medias really play in people's minds because they read things without understanding the emotion, and that affects them
Absolutely.
mentally on how things are.
We're seeing a big change in social media
Yep.
and how it plays into
Yep.
either positive or negative of the community
It is
response.
both, for
Yes,
sure.
yes. All right, what are some of the positive social changes that can be accomplished regarding the integration of disaster within your community? How can you use social media for?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, we maintain a Facebook page ourselves, and we ask that people get on it. It's very important. With people carrying cell phones nowadays, the county has a system called Nixle, where people can log on and sign up for this, and Nixle will send out messages for warnings and what have you. So we really use social media. We use it in-house too. We use social media just to keep our members informed of what's going on, when trainings are happening, when we're going to be going for a drill and what have you. And as a social contact. Folks used to come to the firehouse for that social aspect. We drink beer. We don't have beer in the firehouse. In this firehouse, we don't have any beer in here. We never offer it. But that's the way we tend to have some social gatherings there, because you need to be in team.
Incorporate fun into the everyday.
Yeah. Discussions about what's going on in people's lives, and they really just understand so that we're more of a family versus just a bunch of guys coming together.
All right, that's all I need today. Thank you
That's
so
it?
much. I appreciate it so much.
right.
Thank you.
I hope that met your needs.
I hope it does too.